Take a deep dive.
Rabbit Hole
Podcast.
One of the fucking comments on it is easy. He is son of a lesbian couple. It's not that scary.
They say when you get a shiver down your spine, it means someone's walking over your future burial site. As my husband walks outside gardening, the shivers won't stop.
Oh.
But fucking, you know how? Okay, here's the thing where it's so.
While
Like
sitting in
my
the
grandma,
laboratory,
my grandma says the angels sometimes will try and take you in your sleep, but the angels are often clumsy. Remember the last time you fell and you like woke up? Like that feeling? God fucking damn it, I wish they would take me already.
While studying my laboratory, I came across an unfamiliar notebook and opened it. The first page says, "Warning: the subject still thinks he's a scientist."
I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear. It's also dark at the time. If I knew it would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead.
Ooh, that's sweet. Ooh, I love it.
I've always wondered what the site is for anyway. I asked as Death escorted me to the underworld. Protection, he nervously answered. I don't get it.
You don't get it.
Protections from like the soul, or from like whatever is darker.
All right, you got an opening for us today?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
After being forced to starve and live naked
Did you
in the
just
woods
shit
for
yourself?
years- No.
The fuck?
No one else heard that?
No.
I heard.
Were you the one that shit yourself?
No, it wasn't me. But from someone else's mic, all I heard was.
Maybe your dad. Maybe your dog just.
I don't have the dog's not inside.
Maybe just someone inside your house.
Norma's the only other person in my house, and she's taking a nap in the living room.
It's the third person.
Ghost farts.
Ghosts. Yeah, you got ghosts.
Ghost farts.
I just went on to r/no sleep. Finding a horror
Nice.
story to read.
I mean, I kind of found one.
I got a few. I got one picked out right here.
I'm gonna change it a bit, but
There's one called Southern Fried Murders. Mako, care to tell us about KFC?
What?
It's called Southern Fried Murders.
Southern Fried Murders in KFC. The Colonel has been murdering this entire time. I've been recording now for the last 5 minutes.
also it's meaty.
Okay, at the end of this season, you need to put together like a fucking like blooper reel or some shit. Of, like all the shit that we get up to like before.
I mean, it's like the fucking episode where Mako was recording and goes, "I'm gonna be right back," and then goes AFK for like 5 minutes, and me, Lynx, Remori are like all in cat avatar just dancing on the desk in front of him.
There's so much for a blooper reel, but at this point, what's the point in calling them seasons? We haven't took a break now, and this is the longest stretch that we've done. We went almost 18 episodes. This would be 18 episodes that we went without taking a break.
That's because we decided to say fuck it. Even if somebody's not there, we'll just fucking keep doing
We're
it.
just keep going.
Well, I mean, but like you just at some point.
At some point, I need to gather
need
it
a
all together,
blooper reel.
as a Christmas special. Like episode 22 or episode 50. You know, I'll do it for episode 50. Episode 50.5. After, like, it'd be right before we release the next episode, 51. 50.5 would be nothing but a blooper reel that'd be entirely just for our YouTube.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. So it'd be 50. So it won't count as a full episode, but it'd be 50.5 like that, like, you know. And then we'll go back into 51. Cause see, right now this is episode 40.
41.
41. No. Yes. This is episode 41. So, yeah. Damn.
Yeah, already. Fucking Christ.
And I counted all the weeks and stuff up. Episode 100, Ted Bundy, won't be until next December. If we keep continuously going, episode 100 will be the first week of December.
Is that? I don't know. Depending on if we take breaks or whatever.
That's if we
Yeah,
don't.
that's why he said if we keep going as we're doing now.
If we keep going as we're doing now, episode 100 will be in December of next year.
Nice.
And that will be Ted Bundy. I already have that one written out, but I'm saving it for episode 100. Because he's the...
I think my sister just now. Or maybe, I don't know. Whatever. Nothing.
Also, we had a lot of good feedback. A lot of people loved the Hollow Moon episode and our conclusion to
Which right?
Donkey had sex with the dragon, which filtered the egg, of which became our moon, and then inside that moon is the swamp of which Shrek is laid.
What the fuck?
That was
When the
funny
fuck
shit.
was this?
Was he there for that episode?
Yeah, he was there, but he was semi-AFK.
Yes.
So you guys, honestly, I remember like 10 years ago, I used to be like, I was fucking 16 and 10 years ago. I used to go camping pretty much every weekend with my dad and his friends.
Mm-hmm.
So at least once during the whole say, we'd just do exactly like this, just sit around a campfire and tell fucking spooky stories.
Yeah.
So you know what? Fuck it, let's do it again.
That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do right here, right? Welcome
Hell
to the
yeah.
Rabbit Hole Podcast, everybody.
You're brain farted.
Are you okay?
I'm keeping that in.
You are looking at the faces of LynxParadox, RemoriDesu, Nerocool, MrMacoLive, and RusticII. FaZe is not here. He's
having some
Computer troubles.
technical issues.
He's got to get
Haha,
So-
laughs and shitbox.
Can I ask you a question then?
Yes.
If you used to go camping every weekend with your dad, was there any spooning? There was a lot of
No.
spooning with mine for some reason.
No, we used to
I
do,
think
like,
that's
we had
just
like
you.
we had an RV.
There was a lot of in camps or in tent spooning just to stay warm.
No, we were camping in an RV.
Were you camping in Alabama?
I was sleeping in the
You know what? I think that's probably what happened.
You got Alabama?
Camping in Alabama. Yeah.
Alabama. All right.
The worst thing you can do with your family.
So yeah, we're gonna be telling spooky stories.
We got the
Oh my
spooky
God, wait.
spaghetti stories.
Why did I? Oh, I posted the fucking picture of like, go ahead, take a spooky dookie somewhere. I don't
Spooky
know where.
dookie?
Yeah, it's a toilet that's shaped like a skull.
And this will be the last time that we'll be on this set. Because next week we'll be officially in November.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the next recording, which I might have to move it, all depending. I might have to move next week's recording because next Saturday not only is Norma's sister getting married, but it's also my grandmother's birthday.
Oh yeah, so we could just take that week off. Then.
And you put those two over us, Marco. How dare you?
Along with it's also trick or treat night down here.
Get your
right.
On the 30th.
Get your grandma on the podcast.
Get my grandmother on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
My breast cancer fighting grandmother comes to the podcast in VR.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk about how fucked up Susan G. Coleman is. All right. So let's see what else is going on here. We got some spooky spaghetti stories. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Remori.
I looked in a mirror one time that was pretty scary.
Were you naked when that happened?
Nero, you're next.
I mean, if that's the case, then every time that I wake up in the morning, it's just a scary story.
Actually, you know what? I already know Rustic's scary story. He's like, I woke up this morning.
Oh.
God damn! What the fuck? Yo.
Shots fired. Goddamn.
Honestly, that's the
Listen-
kind of joke he'd make.
Listen,
Yeah.
the fire's right there. You don't need to set him on fire too, damn it.
You know what? Here, wait. There.
Oh man,
This is where I'll sip the podcast.
God damn it! Don't make me bring up the fucking staff.
No, nope.
We're sacrificing children.
Oh no.
why are you teabagging the campfire?
Why are you
Teabagging
teabagging the
the fire.
campfire?
I don't know.
Is it a replay of what happened last time we were in this set? Where you and Shred get teabag?
Because
Oh
they
my
both
God.
fell asleep.
Because I fucking fell.
Fell
I
asleep
passed
during murder stories.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is, during that time, I would normally fall asleep to like SCP articles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just used to like that shit.
The Smirnoff green apple is really fucking delicious.
Are you drinking already?
Yes,
Hashtag not.
Yes.
You fucking alcoholic.
I am.
We're getting into
I-
the
I-
cat
I-
story time.
I will officially go ahead and tell you. Listen,
Alright.
listen. We got a campfire. We got friends. We got stories, and we got all of you listening in. Why not take a drink, huh? Fuck you, Rusty. You're only 18. You can't take a drink. But
Okay. I mean, I can probably go ahead with my.
I was.
do Australia,
You want to
Rusty,
go?
then you
All right,
can
go,
drink.
go ahead.
I mean, I read it, but I'm gonna change it a bit.
Okay.
It's good, but it's kind of.
If it's off of Reddit, make sure you give credit to like the original like poster and stuff like that.
Is it dumb? Is it?
No, it's not dumb. It's no, it's not a Reddit. It's just on a random website.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's at nighttime. A dad walks into his daughter's room and she's crying, and he goes to console her. She says,
I thought this was gonna be one of them Pornhub intros there for a second.
God damn it.
"Hello." So he goes to console her and she says, "Dad, there's a monster inside my closet." So he goes, "Oh, you silly!" So he just like half-heartedly opens the closet door, pretends to look inside, just closes them up, and goes, "No, there's nothing in the closet." And she keeps crying, so he goes, "You know what? You can just come and sleep with us for tonight." So he just grabs his daughter, and instead of going to his bedroom, just walks outside with his wife and kid. So a couple of years later, the daughter actually got remembered that and asked him why did you walk outside that day? He was like, "Oh, I said you could sleep with us, but it was just a way to carry you outside without him noticing that I've seen him."
Oh Jesus.
Ew.
Oh, what? Okay.
He was in the closet.
Was in the closet.
He was in the closet.
And I just now put on some ominous music for our stories. Okay.
Make sure it's not copyright, because
It's-
I actually got a
It is.
fucking funny story. On episode 7, I got hit with like 4 different copyright strikes.
Oh damn.
Or not strikes, but like I got copyrighted
Copyright
for
claims,
those.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, we
That's
are
money
branded.
on you.
I pay $15 a month for Epidemic Sounds.
Ah, cool.
So I have all the music of Epidemic
Well,
Sounds. This is not a shout. This is well,
Yeah.
I guess you can say it's a shout out, but whatever. I'm paying them.
Mako, but you still have to put the credit in the description of
Yeah,
the episodes and stuff like that.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
I mean, he just shouted them out. So
I literally
Yeah.
just shouted them out. But Epidemic Sounds, no, you don't have, like if you use their music, if you're paying for it, you don't have to put them in their description.
Okay. It's just that most things are like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. So I got one here. This one's called Ghost Bro.
Step bro.
I just
Ghost
made
Bro and
that joke.
the air dryer.
I just made that joke. This is a little bit of a long one, but it's not too long. I ain't gonna take long. My house was built in 1904. It is a single-family home, wood frame, sitting on concrete block foundation. And I have been living here for about 12 years. Of all the weird things that my siblings and me have seen and or heard in this house, this one event is my favorite. This happened to my brother. About 10 years ago, my brother and his best friend started a garage band playing mostly Spanish rock, alternative music, but in Spanish. His friends could only get together on Sunday afternoons. They would practice into the early evening, and they would usually call it quits by 8 p.m. This was the time I usually showed up and went to bed because I worked the graveyard shift. This happened in late fall, so the days were getting shorter. They had just finished a long session when the decision to head to someone else's house came about. My brother handed his car keys to his buddy so they could load up the equipment. Everyone had filled out of the basement, but the tricky part was that they needed to walk all the way to the back of the basement, up the back stairs, through the kitchen doorway, down the hall into the living room, and out onto the front porch. Everyone was outside, sitting in my brother's truck, waiting for him. My brother was walking up the back stairs when he remembered that he had left his pancakes in the to-go container sitting on the speaker in the basement. I just want to stop there. Is this in fucking Canada? Get the fucking pancakes?
This is a true horror story. Forgetting your pancakes.
Forgetting your
is the worst thing
pancakes, dude.
imaginable.
Oh no.
He made the decision to go back. Now the basement is not clean, with full sight lines. There had been partitions made, and the boiler and main heating unit are right smack in the middle. So after my brother walks back, he is about to retrieve the food container when out of the corner of the eyes, he sees it. It's a shadowy figure, right at his peripheral vision. The feeling of dread and uneasiness washed over my brother. We had been taught that if you are in the presence of a spirit or a ghost, and you felt the bad vibe, to say a quick prayer, or to cuss at it. My brother chose the latter. He basically just told it, "Hey, fuck you. I don't have time for this shit." My brother started to walk to the back of the basement and briskly up the stairs, closing the doors, turning off the lights as he walked out. The last light switch is on the opposite side of the front door. Luckily, the door was open and the light from the street lamp was flooding the living room with the ember light. My brother said he felt something at his back, but at no point did he turn around. As he flicked the last switch, the living room went dark, as did the rest of the house. As he stepped out, he pulled onto the door, closing it behind him. Still holding his food container in one hand, he jogged out of the few porch steps. He walked towards the front gate. Our house resides on the front, far from the main street, essentially having a large front yard but no rear garage. As he closed the gap between himself and his friends, laid in the truck, he kind of a smile and thought things over in his head, mad at himself for spooking out when there was no reason. He climbed into the driver's side of the truck, putting on his seatbelt and getting ready to pull out of the parking spot directly in front of the house when one of his friends asked, "Hey, wait, what about your brother? Isn't he coming with us?" My brother answered, "What do you mean? He went to work early tonight. He's already gone. Do you see his car anywhere?" The next question they asked, "So then who was walking behind you when you were leaving the house?"
Noise.
Ghost Bro.
Spooky dude. Ghost bro.
Ghost Bro. I think I'm getting better with my reading. It's because of this podcast, my reading's getting better.
Thank God.
Story time with
Finally.
Mr. Marco.
going around in the circle as a phoenix?
When you're fucking 40 episodes deep, you fucking start learning how to read, alright?
Did you not learn how to in school?
No, because I went to public school in Eastern Kentucky.
Fair enough. Alright. Yes, it's my turn. This is from Reddit, from user Buns. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Muzzle Buns. That's what I'm gonna say. As I was scrolling my video app, as I did everything, as I did every evening, a video caught my eye. A woman was holding the regular sort of tarot cards, and the caption said, "Choose one, and if you get it right, this message is for you." Amused, I wanted to see if my, quote, intuition worked. I chose the left card. As she flipped over the left card, I noticed her expression change. Her eyes grew darker with a terrifying glint, and her smile widened and became malicious. I felt a shiver run down my spine. Printed on the card were the words, "See you soon." The picture was grotesque. Screaming people, their skin getting ripped off by twisted black humanoid shapes, with smiles that split their face.
Yo, what's metal as shit?
The detail was horrendous. Unnerved, I exited the app and shook away the cold feeling that had crept up my back. I was sick of all these Halloween videos. Can't wait for October to be over, and I muttered to myself, locking my phone and getting up. It was time for bed anyway, and my mood was completely ruined. I woke to the sound of wind whistling through my window. I could have sworn I shut that, I muttered groggily. You did.
Mm. You did. I like that. Very nice.
Geese.
Anybody else got a scory?
Link's best time.
got
I'm
one.
gonna squeeze that fucking orange around his fucking skull.
That's a pumpkin.
Whatever.
Pumpkin.
Yeah.
He's a pumpkin.
All right, so Remori's itching over here. So let's get Remori going. Lynx, you best get fucking ready. You're going next.
Fine, shit. Jeez.
I don't know why I'm getting aggressive. Sorry.
Mom.
I'm making everybody read tonight. Damn it.
This one also comes from Reddit. Credit to user outside your window _
What
My brother.
what a tasteful username. Outside your window _
My brother didn't leave his room for 3 days. My parents wouldn't let me check on him. On the third night Jacob didn't come out of his room, I got the courage to bring it up to Mum. People don't sleep for this long, I said. She was cooking a casserole, the 6th one this week. We were running out of fridge space for the leftovers, but she kept making more. I would watch her from the corner of the kitchen, her posture curved and her newly greyed hair hanging over the food. I walked over and tugged her sleeve, but she didn't respond. She was slathering butter on top of the crust. "Mom," I said, "did you hear me? He needs his strength," she said. "We can't be bothering him." Before I could do anything, Dad walked in. His eyes were red and swollen, but he was smiling. He had 3 cans of Coke in his hands. "I'm starving," he said. "I still have the taste of that horrible cafeteria food in my mouth." "You would think that hospitals had good food for how much money they make," Mum said. "I know, right?" said Dad. He placed the Cokes on the counter. Mum didn't want us to go near Jacob's room, but I was getting worried. I peered out of the kitchen. His room hung at the end of the hallway like an abandoned lighthouse, the only sign of life being the New York Yankees poster taped to his door. Near the ground there was a small sliver of space to see if he had turned his lights on. It was still dark, and he had been there for the last 3 days. I turned back to Mum. "Shouldn't we check on him?" I asked. "I don't know why places like Wendy's or Burger King don't put up little shops in the hospital," Dad went on. "I mean, you have hundreds of people who are stuck there for days on end. That's consistent business." "It's all politics," Mum said. They sign these big contracts that are impossible to break." Right, that makes sense, right. Dad was standing next to Mum now, his face inches from the casserole. He took a long sniff. "Ah," he said, "smells great."
Shut up.
Get it up. Do you want some of the leftovers while this one finishes in the oven, she asked. I think we still have some from yesterday. Wasn't the spinach and ricotta one good? Very good, very, very good, he said. I couldn't stop eating it. Jacob's gonna devour these when he gets the appetite, Mum said. I turned back and took a step into the hallway. The distance between me and his room felt long and narrow, like a high wire. When I got away from the casserole smell, I hit a different smell. It reminded me of old gym socks. Even with Mum's array of candles and incense, I still smelled it. It cut through everything. The last time I saw Jacob was on the drive home from his treatment. His face was a pale green and his eyes kept rolling back. Mum said I have to keep talking to him to keep his focus. I told him about my friends at school and how they kept pranking the teacher by putting tacks on her chair. This wasn't true. I just saw it on a TV show once, but I was running out of material. It didn't matter though. Jacob didn't even respond. All he did was cough. Pink drool was spilling into his t-shirt. Danny, Mum said, why don't you heat up some of those leftovers? We're all craving that spinach and ricotta casserole. I can't stop thinking about it, Dad said. I was dreaming about it last night. I ignored him. I kept my focus on my brother's door. I didn't dream about the casserole like Dad. I kept having a different dream. My brother was running into my room and flicking my ear. It was a game that we used to play. We would tiptoe up to the other's door and wait for our moment, then the attacker ran in and got 1 or 2 good flicks before retreating. In my dream, though, Jacob would run in and flick me, but I wouldn't move. I just stood there. He would flick and laugh, and then flick some more. Sometimes he would flick so hard my ear flew off. Eartha Danny, Dad said, snapping his fingers in my face. He was standing in front of me, blocking my view of Jacob's door. Do you mind heating up 4 portions of the casserole in case Jacob wants some? We're going to eat that before this next casserole because we want to make sure Jacob's able to try it, because in my opinion it was definitely one of your mum's best. I looked up at him, held eye contact. I couldn't say what I was thinking, so I wanted Dad to feel it. Maybe if I stared long enough, my feelings would translate. But Dad looked at me only for a moment, then looked away. In that brief connection, though, I saw something I didn't want to see. It was like staring down the tunnel of the world's deepest well. Come on now, he said. He grabbed my shoulders and turned me around. His voice got heavier. You're going to want to heat up each piece individually, because if you do them all at once, then you won't get an even heat through the pieces, and you'll probably have a couple that are too hot and others that are too cold, and then Jacob won't get the full picture of how good these casseroles are. Dad let go of my shoulders and walked ahead of me, but I stayed in the hallway a moment longer. I turned to look at my brother's door one last time. I fantasized about walking up to it and going inside, but I was afraid my mum would yell at me. Besides, I never liked going in there. He had a puke bucket next to his bed, which always had pink splatters in it, and there was always clumps of hair on his pillows. Back before the last hospital visit, Mum would make me go in there and talk to him, but I always made up some excuse, like I had a cold and I didn't want to get him sick. When I couldn't get out of it, I would stay in there for a few minutes and watch him try to breathe. I would tell him about some TV episode I saw, and then run back to my room. I looked up. I thought I was walking back to the kitchen, but I was moving towards the door. I didn't want to, but I kept moving, like my limbs were controlled by a puppeteer. I put my hand on the doorknob. I turned. The gym sock smell filled my head like helium. Through the darkness, I could make out a slither of my brother's face. The soft evening light fell on him. His eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. His arms were straight as rulers, and his fingers curled like a blooming rose. I walked to the side of his bed. Red spit fell off his lips. He looked like a frowning clown. I flicked his ear. It was hard. I walked out and closed the door behind me. As I walked back, I seemed to forget what the inside of his room looked like. With the door closed, it could be anything. Jacob could be doing jumping jacks or reading comic books or plotting his next air flick attack. When I walked into the kitchen, I heated up 4 plates of spinach and ricotta casserole. When they were done, I wrapped Jacob's plate in aluminium foil and put it in the oven to keep it warm. Then Mum, Dad, and I sat at the dining room table and ate in silence.
So the brother is dead.
Yep.
And, why am I fucking hungry?
Because they kept talking about casseroles.
Not a spinach, man.
There's a lot of fucking... Like, I like my spinach.
shit.
Like... But, like... I don't think I'll ever try the spinach and ricotta casserole. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, so brother's dead. Great, that's... Ugh, so that's...
Maybe it's gonna be Ghost, bro.
That's...
God damn it.
But, like, so the parent... So what do you think? The parents are in denial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's in denial.
Someone's writing here that they believe the brother's been dead for 3 days, and they're so saddened. Their lies are clouding the fact that they actually lost their son.
Mm.
The mother's incense covering up the
The dead smell.
the dead smell.
Decomposition smell. Oh boy.
But what is it called? Is it rigor mortis?
Rigor mortis.
And you get all
Yep.
stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, after so long, you just become goosh.
Goosh.
Become goose.
No, goosh.
From Goose.
Goose.
Like okay, you stiffen up, you're hard as a rock, for like,
Yeah,
I think it's like
yeah.
2 weeks, and then everything, all your organs, while your outside is hard as a rock, everything on the inside starts to mush, and then the rest of your body goes, and it's just bones left. Bones. It's the bones! They got bones in the floor.
This floor boneless.
In the floor?
In the floor.
In the floor.
Don't you? That's actually a callback to Well, you wasn't here last year for that episode, but that's actually a callback to motherfucker, John Wayne Gacy.
All right.
There was bones
I watched that one.
under the floorboards. There's bones in the floor. Lynx, you got one?
Yeah. Let's see. Story from Reddit by Tom and Grackle. There's a duck following me. It waddles and flaps and bobs as it walks behind me, never dangling behind.
Did you say a duck?
Yeah, a duck.
Quack.
Yeah, a duck. Yeah, quack.
Cool.
Ducks, small, maybe white, I don't know. Could be brown.
You should like, Nero, go find one with a pig.
No.
Go find
go find one with a pig. That way, every time someone says the word pig, I can.
No thanks. I'm good.
Yeah,
will
I opted out of
traumatize
that
you.
one too.
Go ahead, sorry.
As far as it doesn't eat or drink. It occasionally sticks its bill into its feathers and perhaps to scratch an itch. The duck started following me this morning. I saw it when I walked out the front door of my apartment. It looked up at me, unimpressed. Then it followed me to my car. It tried to get in, but I nudged it out and shut the door. It stood behind my car, blocking the way out of my space. I was already 15 minutes late for work. I finally just put my car in reverse and hoped the dog would leave. When I arrived at my office, it hopped off the roof of my car and waddled in after me. God damn, it's a fucking persistent ass stuff.
It's a persistent ass fucking. Are you sure it ain't a goose? 'Cause these motherfuckers are evil.
Mm-hmm.
Honk honk.
No one seemed to notice the duck. But there was a lot of commotion going on at my place. My boss was named, as was the receptionist. Company president stood in the corner of the cubicle farm, hand on his cheek, trying to put together words. Melissa from accounting waved me into her cube. "Did you hear about Travis from billing?" she whispered. "What happened?" I asked. "Went on a rampage. Killed his whole family and a handful of neighbors."
Oh God.
"Has he been caught?" I asked. "He's dead. They're saying he drowned himself in a pond just near his house.
Oh.
Just stuck his head in the water and kept it there." You worked closely with him, right? I asked. Was there any sign of him that he was close to having a breakdown? The odd thing, that's the odd thing. He seemed completely normal for the most part. The most part? I asked. Well, one day last week, he was just joking. Joking about the oddest thing. What did he say? That there was a duck following him. Strange, right? Strange, I said. Quack, said the duck.
Quack, said the duck.
Yeah.
I like that as an ending.
It's like the fucking and the ramen was ruined.
And the ramen was
And the
ruined.
ramen was
If you're a dude, that's a
Damn.
horror story in itself.
Yes, the ramen was ruined.
Getting shot
The
in the
bottle
balls
rocket
with
flew right into his
fucking-
banana hammock.
Yeah.
Not a hammock. No
Oh.
offense.
All right. This one's called The
After
Whispers.
that, I have another one.
You have another one?
Ye-
Well, then you want... Here, let me just go ahead and read this one since I've already started.
Yeah, go for
And
it.
then you go...
Yeah, no, go.
I was focused. This is a story I do not often tell. I promise, sincerely, that this has scared me for life. And although I have looked into psychological explanations for what I heard and natural explanations for what occurred, they remain unsatisfactory. When I was a child, I was scared of the dark. I swore to my mother I heard voices in it. They were not evil, but they were not familiar, and so they scared me. I just accidentally just went past the entire fucking thing. Doing this in VR. It was not uncommon in the middle of the night for me to wake up and hear whispers, as I would call them when asking my mom. She figured they were just bumps in the night, and typical kids' nightmares material. I tried often to explain to her that it was more than that they sounded different from one another, the way people's voices do. On some nights, I would get so scared from these whispers that I would sleep in my mom's bed with her. It was an added bonus that the bathroom was directly outside of her bedroom door for my late night tingles. I should add at this point that when walking out into the hall to go to the bathroom, you look directly down the stairs, and that would lead you to the living room on the first floor, as my mom's bedroom was on the second floor. On one such night around Christmas, I awoke and felt the need to relieve myself. I walked out from the door and distinctively heard the phrase, "Look!" And to my astonishment, a red light, almost like a spotlight, was kept. The fuck? The fuck just happened?
You move forward. You're hunted.
I did. I fucking lunged just then.
You move forward on a red light, now you die. That's the rules.
Oh my god.
Almost like a spotlight was cast upon the wall at the very bottom of the stairs. The light had no source, and it was by itself. I was transfixed by it. Being a little kid, and it only being a few days from Christmas, I knew that what this light was. It was Santa! How else could he get into the house to know I was being a good boy?
No.
I was so
No.
excited, I began walking down the stairs to greet him, picking up my pace after the second step as it began to creep off the wall and fade into darkness in my living room. That was when I heard him, a very strong, masculine voice, different from the first, not at all like my father's, and not to say he isn't masculine, it was just distinctly different. And it said, "Stop right now. Go back up those stairs. I listened, turned around. What happened next? I'm not sure I would believe it if someone told me this same story. After reaching the top of the stairs, I heard a very loud crash that sent me running back into my mother's bed, where I jumped straight under the covers and stayed there the entire night. When we awoke the next morning, the poinsettia lights, little Christmas flower lights that glow red, my mother had put up on the railing down the stairs, were pulled straight down to the bottom of the stairs, some broken from what seemed like a forceful tear. Laying in a single pile, the dry sink in my living room had fallen from the wall. My mother could not explain it. My father was worried we had been victims of a home invasion. My sister was crying, and there was nothing missing, though. Nobody had broken in. There did not seem to be any reason for what had happened. And then I saw it, and I kept quiet about it, because I was so afraid that I could not force words out of my mouth. There, on the edge of the wooden dry sink, which had been facing up, were 3 indentions where the finish on the wood had begun to worn, almost as if a forceful grip. Something down there had grabbed it and threw it down, and that was what the bang was. I was mortified. After the day, I never heard a single voice again. I do not like to imagine what was waiting downstairs for me that night, if it was anything at all. But I can tell you that the reality was something had physically acted upon 2 things in my house, near the bottom. Whoop, where did I go? Stop passing it. Near the bottom of that stairwell. After this, I had never heard another whisper again, which is sad, because in some ways, I would have liked to thank the man, masculine energy, that had stopped me from going down those stairs. This happened when I was 7. I'm 20 now, and because of this incident, I'm still very much afraid of the dark, especially shadowy stairwells. That's the end of that one.
God damn.
Should have saved that one for Christmas.
He's gonna be scared of that SCP, the stairwell.
That's next week's episode. We're coming back to SCPs. No, like, I think we are. I don't know. What did I say last week?
If we do, I want to make up SCPs.
You want to make up SCPs next time?
Yeah.
Ooh, I know the best. I've got one. It was what I was doing yesterday with the fucking harness.
Oh God!
Odd.
The SCP 7133. It's safe.
Sentient harbor.
It's
harness.
a sentient harness. It puts you on and instantly makes you horny.
Quote unquote safe.
Quote unquote safe. There is no. But when you put it on, there is no safe word.
It doesn't make you horny. It just reveals your true intent.
Exactly.
Okay, wait. Actually, I'll pull my thing on my hand so I can read it. Okay.
I pull up a whole nother window and that's where I put up everything.
I mean, it's because... Oh, wait. That's why. I'm a dumbass. Oh, boop. Now I can use it. Oh, now I can move.
People
Select
keep
stuff.
wanting me, like, these are people that I've had 3 invites from people that I haven't seen in, like, fucking months. Like, I am busy. Leave me alone.
Okay, the creepy... it's a creepypasta, but it's still a scary story, right? So I'm gonna count it. I'm pretty sure I tried to tell it, but I didn't have the actual story, so I just fucked it up completely. So, there you go. A man went to a hotel and walked up to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key to his room and told him that on his way to his room, there was a room with no number that was locked and that no one was allowed in there. She explained that it was a storeroom and that it was out of bounds. She reminded him of this several times before allowing him upstairs. So he followed the instruction of the woman at the front desk, going straight to his room and going to bed. However, the insistence of the woman had piqued his curiosity. So the next night, he walked down the hall to the door, and he tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. The cold hair passed through it, chilling his eye. Just scrolling down. What he saw was a hotel bedroom, like his. And in the corner was a woman whose skin was incredibly pale. She was leaning her head against the wall, facing away from the door. He stared in confusion for a while. Was this a celebrity? The owner's daughter? He almost knocked on the door out of curiosity, but decided not to. As he was still looking, the woman turned sharply, and he jumped back from the door, hoping she would not suspect he had been spying on her. He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day, he returned to the door and looked through the wide keyhole. This time, all he saw was redness. He couldn't make anything out besides the distinct red color, unmoving. Perhaps the inhabitant of the room knew he was spying last night before and blocked the keyhole with something red. He felt embarrassed. He had made the woman so uncomfortable that, and hoped that she had not made a complaint to the woman at the front desk. At this point, he decided to consult her for more information after some gentle quizzing, and the promise that the explanation would go no further than him. She finally said, "Well, I might as well tell you the story of what happened in that room. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife. We find that even now people get uncomfortable staying in there, but these people were not ordinary. They were all white. They were white all over, except for their eyes, which were red."
Yeah. Rusty, what you got over?
So
What?
while you're looking in the fucking keyhole, she's looking back.
She's looking back.
Were we supposed to
What
bring
would you
two?
do if you just
Or
like
no?
looked through your peephole one time and then you just saw someone staring back at you?
I'd shove my dick in there.
The fuck?
What?
Peephole?
You shoved
that
you
small?
shoved your dick in there.
Must be tiny,
I mean, it says it's a wide keyhole. Come on now.
like a tic tac,
That's a tic tac.
Yeah, okay, call it a stick, please.
A stick.
like a stick.
Okay, so
Okay, so
a
it's at least-
very, very thin
And
stick.
long stick. Yeah.
Like a
Thin
square.
and long.
Square.
Oh God.
So,
I have
so you can.
Rusty. Do you have anything?
You can't
Wait,
tell me
no.
it's even there.
Wait,
have
before we
I have
continue
some
with stories,
house rules.
I have something. Oh my god, I have a story that like happened when I was really really young, and I went to like sleep over to a friend's house, and he was like the first thing he told me was like, by the way, be warned, shit gets fucking weird in here at night. I was like, okay, like, what the fuck's happening? So first night, like I slept 2 nights. It was like over the weekend, so like Friday and Sunday night and Saturday night, and I go back on Sunday. So the first night on Friday night, it was like fine, nothing happened. Then Saturday night, it sounded like there was a fucking party downstairs at like fucking 3 or 4 in the morning, and like it was loud, like we could hear people banging, people like laughing. So I just asked him like, hey, like
Sounds like
is
a
your dad
frat
having
party if you can hear people banging.
I was like, no, not. It's like banging, fucking on the table and shit, like stomping on the ground.
Yeah.
So I just asked his dad, like, hey, like, is your dad having a party or something? Like, are they gonna go to bed soon? He goes, no, my dad's probably asleep. Sure enough, from the fucking other side of the fucking hallway, we hear his dad's door open, and him stomping down. He just steps in the fucking living room and goes, shut the hell up! And just like that, the noise stopped.
Damn.
There was fucking nobody downstairs, but it sounded like there was a fucking whole party.
Huh.
I was young and never fucking went back down there. I never went back the
I
fuck
say
down.
you never did. I mean, okay, like if we're doing this roundabout, like,
Freaked me out.
back when I was young, that was like when my mom and dad were still together. They divorced back in like 2006. So I was like,
I was tweet.
I was 10.
You a kid?
I was a kid.
Oh, he was a kid too.
It's nice.
No, I mean, I'm saying he's still
He
a
was
kid.
microscopic, okay?
No, I'm saying
was a
he's still a
toddler.
kid.
Yeah. But I was 10 at the time. And, whew, sorry. And, the basement. My dad had a pool table and everything down there. He also had this, floor model Miss Pac-Man. It was like a table model Miss Pac-Man. Old style. It worked.
Oh, those, yeah.
It worked with pennies, and that's how he collected pennies.
Yeah.
But of course, I loved it. I went down there to go play it one night. I gathered up some pennies and went down there and to play some Miss Pac-Man and stuff, you know. And I was just sitting there playing it. My brother knew that everybody was upstairs. The house was I already knew it was haunted because there was just one hallway of that house that it always gave me like bad vibes just trying to walk through it, and I always tried to like I always just quickly tried to scooter through that hallway as fast as I could, but I hated that hallway. And where the Miss Pac-Man sat, there was a pool table in front of it, and then on the other side of the pool table is where the door opened out to that hallway. Door was open. I was sitting there playing Miss Pac-Man, and I could see, like, out of peripheral vision, I saw something run up the steps, and I could physically hear somebody running up the steps. And then it wasn't a second later, like 5 seconds later, my mom opens up the basement door and goes, "What are you doing down there?" Like, playing Miss Pac-Man. I was like, "Was you running up the steps just then?" Like, no. So, my mom already knew that something was weird was going on in the house, so she just shut the door and just said whatever. Because it was family owned, so she just thought, like, if anybody's haunting the house, it's probably somebody in near family or whatever. So that she doesn't really bother. But that's when I got intrigued, and I stiffened up the courage that I could to go to, because I knew exactly where this son of a bitch lied. It was in that hallway. And so I went to that hallway, and I just put my back up against the wall for a second, because there is no lights. The only lights that you see is at the very end of the hallway, which was where the water pump and the water heater and stuff was the light in that room, and the other end was that pool table room, and then the steps going upstairs. So I was right there up against the wall, right? And it just got really cold, and you could I could physically just see stuff moving in my peripherals. I could see, like, but whenever I go to look, it's gone, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you see it in your peripheral, and you look over it quickly, and it's gone. And now Galvin is requesting, does no one see the time? But either way,
Your status.
it's on orange.
Yeah, but like the text status. Say your podcast or some shit.
I'm gonna turn the motherfucker red. That way I don't get nobody notifications.
That works
But
too.
either way, it was at this point.
Oh, I was gonna say you lost what you were, right?
No.
Okay.
It was at this point to where I was kind of freaked out. As I looked over things, it's like, all right, I'm gonna get in here. I turn around off of the wall, right? And I turn off over the wall, and I go like I'm going to go back towards the pool room, right? It was at that point where I physically heard something run up behind me, and at that point I hightailed it out, and I was like, all right, nope. And I never went into that basement ever again until that house burnt down.
Nope. The fuck no.
Yeah. It was like, that was it. Yep,
Fuck
nope.
this shit, I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Everybody. But like, yeah. That was a terrifying experience, and which is why I believe in the paranormal and why I love the show Ghost Adventures. Some stuff I know on that show can be faked,
I can't be.
but
the
I just
only-
find it intriguing.
I can't be the only one that has this fucking fear. I don't know, for some fucking reason. Just walking in a room is like poorly lit with a fucking mirror.
No, hell no. Hell no.
Like, if the room's completely dark, I don't give a shit. If there's a fucking mirror in there,
If there's a mirror, no,
Fuck
fuck that.
Huh?
That's
yeah.
that is scrying energy. That is fucking portal energy. Fuck that. Fuck
Have you
every
ever
bit of that.
stared at yourself? Have you ever just like put your face right up to a mirror and just stared at yourself for like as long as possible?
if you go to a room that's like kind of dimly lit, like a couple candle lights, and look at yourself in the mirror, at some point your brain starts to like lose concept of your own face, and you just like see your fucking face just go.
Yeah,
the
that's
mirror.
it. Like you start looking really strange, and it's very disturbing.
Fucking creepy.
Apparently, there's
I don't know.
I don't know why this reminded me of it, but like, if you're having like a lucid dream, or like you become aware that like you're dreaming, and like you go up to somebody and just say like, I know this is a dream, and just keep repeating that, some weird fucking trippy shit happens. I don't know, because I don't dream, so I
Have
don't
you
know.
ever been able to control a dream?
I've never been able to control a dream either.
But if you do, let me know what happens, including those in the comments.
Yes.
I mean, I usually am like mainly able to
Tag
control
magic.
my dreams, but if I do, I just like normally just like, hey, wake up. Like if I'm aware it's a dream, I was like, hey, fucking wake up.
Like,
if I can
I've
successfully control a dream, I would just come back to you guys and be like, I've ascended.
I
And
I
there you
have-
go.
have physically, like, I have dreamt that I woke up, got dressed, and was on my way to work driving, and then all of a sudden I wake up in my bed, and I'm like, what?
Oh, okay. When I was young,
Because I physically
that's-
thought,
That's
when I was
I
young,
hate
my nightmares were
layering.
like I was
Those are
getting
shit.
I physically thought that I was going to work, and all of a sudden I wake up like, wait a second.
You know what? When I was young, my nightmares were like I'm getting chased by monsters, or like I'm falling, or like I don't know, fucking like.
Oh
spooky
yeah,
shit. Now-
falling stuff.
Now that I'm an adult, my fucking nightmares are me at work and shit goes sideways.
Marco, I can totally imagine you like dreaming that you're driving and you're sleep talking as well, and like you're in bed like this, and you're just sort of your hands are out here, and you, where did the car come from?
Like,
Where'd Twitch
relating,
come from?
Where'd Twitch come from? Where'd car come from?
That clip, if you guys don't know, it's a clip that happened when we were sleep talking. But
Well, that's a fucking hilarious.
Dude,
clip.
Sleep mumbling.
You were-
Get it right.
you sounded like you were, you know, like when you go to like auctions, like the auction.
Can I get another one? Do we have two? Do we have two? Do we have two? Do we have one? Do we have one? Do we have two? Do we have two?
Where did Twitch come
Two,
from?
250, 250, 250. Can we have 250? 250 right there.
You
2,
were
3.
talking so fucking quick, I could not hear a single word you were saying.
It's
But then
so
it-
funny.
It's because I wasn't saying a word. The only 4 words that I said in that entire sentence is where Twitch come from. The rest of it is fucking in a different language. I don't even know what the fuck I was saying, okay?
so funny.
Pretty sure you were just streaming in your dreams.
Streaming at my dream, dude.
Hey, he was talking to Chad in his
Dream
dream.
never
It was
ended.
funny as shit. That scared me too.
Here
Because
we
like,
have it.
like the middle of a conversation, and then Michael just starts like working in the like twitching in the background, starts fucking speaking tongues. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
You know how
Fucking
depressing it
possessed,
would
dude.
be right now, like if you just woke up in a hospital and they told you that you're in a coma and that all of this didn't exist.
That'd be pretty
I'd
depressing.
kill
honestly.
myself.
I mean, I have a story about that.
1990. VR doesn't exist as a concept.
Damn it, Rusty.
I have a story
Yeah,
about
like
that. It's
VR
called
doesn't
Parallel
exist.
Life.
You
Parallel
guys
life.
actually don't even exist in the planet. It's like all just made up in your head.
My entire life. Is
Hey, actually, you
nothing
know
but
what?
fake.
I'll try to read this quick because it fit exactly as to what you were talking about. I just pulled it up. My last semester at a certain college, I was assaulted by a football player while I was walking, trying to drive. Wait, for walking where he was trying to drive. While unconscious on the ground, I lived a different life. I met a wonderful a young lady. She made my heart skip and my face red. I pursued her for several months, dispatched a few jerk boyfriend before I finally won her over. After 2 years, we got married, and almost immediately she bore me a daughter. I had a great job, and my wife didn't have to go to work. Didn't have to work outside of the house. When my daughter was 2, she, my wife, bore me a son. My son was the joy of my life. I would walk into his room every morning before I left for work and dot on him and my daughter. One day, while sitting on the couch, I noticed that this perspective of the lamp was odd, like inverted, like it was still 3D, but just wrong. It was a square lamp base, red with gold trim on 4 legs, and a white square shade. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I sat up all night staring at it. The next morning, I didn't go to work. Something was just not right about that lamp. I stopped eating. I left the couch only to use the bathroom at first. Soon, I stopped that too. As I wasn't eating or drinking, I stared at the fucking lamp for 3 days before my wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to me, but at this time, my cognizance was breaking. My wife was freaked out. She took the kids to her mother's house just before I had my epiphany. The lamp is not real. The house is not real. My wife is not real. My kids. None of that is real. My last 10 years of my life are not fucking real. The limb started to grow wider and deeper. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up my entire perspective, and all I could see was red. I heard voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises. And I became aware of pain. A fucking shit ton of pain. The first words that I said were, "I'm missing teeth." And opened my eyes. I was laying on my back on the sidewalk, surrounded by people that I didn't know. Plus, for freaking out, I was completely confused. At some point, a cop scooped me up, dragged me across the sidewalk and grass, and threw me in the face down in the back of his cop car. I was still confused. I was taken to the hospital by the cop. Seemingly didn't want to wait for the ambulance to arrive, and given a CT scan and shit. I went through about 3 years of horrid depression, and I was grieving the loss of my wife and children, and dealing with the knowledge that they never existed. I was scared I was going insane as I cried myself to sleep, hoping I would see her in my dream. I never have, but sometimes I see my son, usually just a glimpse out of the peripheral vision. He is perpetually 5 years old, and I never hear what he says. That's the story. That's so funny you just mentioned that out of nowhere. I had that pulled up too, just in
That's
case.
just all you know what? All that was a great segue that he didn't even think of. Didn't have to plan for. A great segue to not have to plan for.
That's funny because I pulled up the 2 stories. This one and the other one, the lady staring back at the dude. And I was like, which one do I say? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
In all honesty, the ladies and beans, whoever who is listening, we do not structure these episodes at all. And I think it would be a little bit better if we did structure them, have a call before or whatever,
we lose the fuckery that we are.
True.
In the
true.
world,
You kinda,
and Marco goes, "Did you guys bring your good stories?" And all of us were like, "No."
No.
Yeah, I asked everyone
no,
yesterday. You guys ready for tonight? And you see, here I was with stories ready
You
to go.
didn't tell us anything.
I did though.
I had
He came up to
But
me.
you didn't.
actually.
I'll help
I mean,
myself
like,
accountable here. I
Not
wasn't
before
prepared.
last night.
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes. Before we ended the episode last week.
Oh,
It's on camera.
well, Rip.
No, Rustic was too busy doing the Jacko pose last night.
I missed that.
Yes.
Yeah, you missed that.
He
Well,
actually
I missed
got
it.
up
I was
and put his
there.
full body on to come back and do it.
I was
What?
I was in VR. I just didn't have. I was charging my full body, and I just realized it was fully charged. So I tried it.
I didn't see
Alright,
that.
Mako, do the Jacko pose right now. That's what I thought.
Alright, so I think that's anybody else got anything else they want to say right now, right here, right now? Any other stories you want to get off your mind?
I looked in the mirror once.
Speak now, or
I woke up today. But we're going to be this will be the last episode we do here until next year.
my fucking nightmare.
And then we'll be back in our normal podcast suits next episode. You might get an episode next week. It might be a week break. I don't know. I'm probably gonna be really busy next Saturday up until the time that I stream, so I don't know the full details as of yet. But speaking of streaming, guys, make sure to go give us some love where love is due to LynxParadox, RemoriDesu, Nerocool, RusticII, and myself at MrMacoLive. But
And
until
Face Fox Bean too, even though he's not here.
yeah, Phase the Fox
Yeah.
being in spirit, he's gonna need some love because he might need a new computer. But with that being said, ladies and beans, until we see each other next time, have a great and spooky happy Halloween, huh? But until then, remember to always hell yourselves.
Bye bye.
Peace out, beautiful bastards.
Remori, would it be safe to say that this Halloween you're getting jerk off candy?
Oh god.
Yeah, I am uncomfortable. All right. I'm gonna go.